19-year-old swimmer Lauren came to a tourist diving center in the Bahamas to swim with supposedly trained and completely safe sharks. What she didn't know was that one of the sharks had exhibited unstable behavior the day before after a bad encounter with a diver. When she entered the water, one shark froze in the middle of the lagoon and just stared at her. 12 seconds later, it moved, and none of the instructors reacted in time. Lauren Matthews was 19, a collegiate swimmer from Michigan with a scholarship and a perfect butterfly stroke. She'd never been to the ocean before. Her dad booked the Bahamas trip as a graduation present. She chose Blue Current Dive Center because of the photos. Smiling tourists, crystal clear water, dozens of sharks swimming calmly in a giant open lagoon. The brochure promised safe, trained interactions with marine predators. The word predator didn't scare her. It excited her. They arrived early. The dive center was built like a beach resort, polished teak decks, hanging ferns, a lounge with juice and tablets playing promotional videos. At the registration counter, Lauren signed a waiver without reading it. Her dad hesitated but followed suit. The staff repeated the script. The sharks were hand-fed. They had never attacked a swimmer. All dives were supervised. "They're used to people," the instructor said. "Honestly, they're kind of lazy." Lauren was given a wetsuit, a floating vest, and a neoprene arm sleeve that was supposed to reduce scent. They strapped a waterproof GoPro to her right wrist. Her dad stayed on the upper deck with the others who didn't want to swim. There were 7 tourists entering the lagoon that morning. 3 instructors. 1 safety diver in the water. The mood was relaxed. At 10:42 a.m., the group walked down the ramp into the enclosure. It was a shallow drop into 20 feet of enclosed salt water. The fence was submerged but invisible to the eye. The water was calm, glassy. The first few sharks appeared right away. Reef sharks. Blacktip. Graceful, uninterested, used to humans. They moved in slow arcs around the swimmers. No sudden turns, no proximity alerts. Lauren adjusted her goggles and dipped her head under. Everything looked like the promo video. A minute in, someone spotted a larger shape approaching from the far end of the lagoon. A tiger shark. The only one in the group. 7 feet long, heavier, slower. But this one wasn't moving. Not even a tail flick. Just hovering in place like a statue. One of the other tourists pointed. Lauren smiled and swam a little closer. The shark didn't move. It faced her directly, not curious, not hostile, just still. Lauren paused, hovered, waiting for the staff to signal. No whistles, no warning. The instructors watched. The shark continued to hover. It had been 13 seconds. Then it shifted, slowly, deliberately, and began to move, straight toward her. The shark advanced slowly. It wasn't gliding, it was targeting. Its body dipped slightly, dorsal fin cutting the surface once before vanishing under the water again. Lauren remained still, suspended in the center of the lagoon. Her breathing quickened through the snorkel tube. She didn't panic. She was trained, in control. She knew eye contact was key. But this shark wasn't looking around. It was locked onto her. The instructors didn't signal. No hands up, no alarms. One of them raised a waterproof tablet but didn't move. Maybe they thought it was part of the animal's routine. Maybe they didn't realize the difference between conditioned and conscious behavior. Lauren raised her palm gently. Fingers together. The universal sign of "I see you." The shark didn't slow. It cut the distance in wide loops that tightened each pass. First at 20 feet, then 15, then 10. Its motion stayed smooth. No jerks, no tail snaps. It wasn't displaying aggression. It was doing what predators do when no one stops them. Lauren kicked backward slowly. No splashes, no sudden strokes. The water around her remained calm. Beneath her, the sunlight traced shifting lines along the sand floor. The tiger shark tilted slightly as it passed her left side. Too close. She felt the water pressure change against her shoulder. Her instincts screamed. Something about its body posture. The way it didn't blink. The way it didn't hesitate. This wasn't circling. This was testing. The GoPro on her wrist captured everything. The grain of her breath through the tube. The shark's steady climb into her frame. The flash of its eye as it rotated just beneath her fins. Lauren kept moving backward, angling toward the instructors. No one moved. She reached out again. Another hand gesture, this time flat palm turned downward. A subtle request for space. It didn't matter. The shark curved around her again and didn't widen its turn. Its head lifted. Its body straightened. It rose vertically, mouth slightly open. Lauren knew she was out of position. No wall, no rope, no depth to dive toward. The shark was now less than 6 feet away and gaining. She didn't look at the instructors anymore. She looked at its eyes, and in that second she knew. It wasn't going to pass this time. It was going to strike. Lauren turned sharply, aiming to break the direct line between them. Her left hand pushed against the water, her legs kicking out in a diagonal arc. It was too late. The shark accelerated. No burst, no thrash. Just cold propulsion. A smooth shift from motionless to attack speed. It closed the final distance in under 2 seconds. She felt the contact before she saw it. A blunt force against her upper left arm. Not a slice. A clamp. The shark's jaws locked down just below her shoulder. Her muscles seized. The wetsuit compressed against her skin and then tore. Her body twisted from the momentum. Her legs spun toward the surface. Her vision blurred as salt water flooded her mask. She screamed, but the sound went nowhere. Only a stream of bubbles marked the release. The pain was not immediate. It came second, after the shock. At first there was only pressure, then a tearing sensation as the shark pulled once to the side. Her arm remained in its grip, not severed, just crushed. She tried to pull away but couldn't move. Her right hand grabbed the strap across her vest. She kicked with everything she had. The shark shook its head once, then let go. Blood burst into the water like ink. A thick red cloud bloomed around her. The GoPro on her wrist spun loose, catching only flashes of movement and noise. One of the instructors finally dove. Another tourist screamed above the surface. Lauren's mask slid off. Her vision turned to streaked light and bubbles. The shark turned for a second pass. No hesitation, no deviation. It swam upward in a rising curve. Lauren didn't see it. Her eyes were closed. She was trying to hold her arm with her remaining hand, compress the wound, keep something inside from spilling out. The instructor reached her waist just as the shark turned again. He yanked her vest strap and pulled upward. The water churned behind them. Her head broke the surface. She gasped, mouth wide, lungs fighting for air. The instructor shouted for the boat. Hands reached in from the platform. Another scream came from above. They dragged her out of the water like dead weight. Her arm was hanging, torn, bone exposed. And the shark was still circling, unhurried, waiting. They got her onto the dock in under 30 seconds. She wasn't speaking, just breathing in short, ragged gasps. Her eyes wide, no panic, no scream, just shock. One of the instructors pressed a towel against her shoulder. Another shouted into a handheld radio for medevac. Blood pooled beneath her, soaking the slats of the platform and dripping between the boards into the water below. Lauren's dad was frozen 10 feet away, his mouth open, hands twitching. He took one step forward and stopped. The shark was still visible in the lagoon. It hadn't left. It glided slowly along the far side of the tank, then paused again, just under the surface, facing the platform. Someone on staff told him not to approach. Paramedics were on the way. The other tourists were ushered back. 2 of them were crying. 1 was vomiting over the side railing. Phones had captured parts of the attack, but security seized the footage within minutes. The dive center went into lockdown protocol. Staff swept the deck, reassured witnesses, filled out forms. None of them looked at Lauren. She drifted in and out of consciousness. Her arm was mangled beyond saving, a jagged semicircle of flesh and exposed tendon wrapped around shattered bone. The wetsuit was cut away with a diving knife. She groaned once, long and low, when they tried to tighten the makeshift tourniquet. The towels were no longer white. The dock was no longer clean. The medevac arrived 12 minutes later. They lifted her on a stretcher and carried her across the sand toward the helipad. No one from the dive staff followed. No one rode with her. She left the lagoon in silence, the only sound the rotor wash beating down over the surf. She survived. Doctors at the Nassau Trauma Unit amputated the arm above the elbow. She underwent 2 surgeries, 12 hours in recovery, 3 days before she could speak. Her statement was brief. She said she remembered the shark's stillness more than anything. How it didn't move, how no one reacted. The footage leaked anyway. Someone uploaded it anonymously 3 days later. No title card, no music, just raw video. The freeze frame of the shark hovering, then moving, then blood.